This is Good Morning Football. Peter Schrager, Kyle Bryant, Nate Burleson. My name is Kay Adams. Will Selva's out in the newsroom. Will, take it away.
All right, thank you, Kay. Well, the sports world is still in shock over the sudden deaths of NBA legend Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna. They were among 9 people who lost their lives in a Sunday morning helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. An investigation into the cause of the crash is currently ongoing. Nicknamed the Black Mamba for his fearless determination, this mentality resonated with countless sports fans, not just in this country, but around the globe as well. Our Omar Ruiz got reaction to the loss of Bryant at the Pro Bowl from Calais Campbell and Keenan Allen.
I was shocked and in disbelief, man. He's been such an inspiration throughout my career, just even my, growing up as a kid. I watched so many motivational videos of his, and just, the message, the way he carried himself. I tried to emulate that and get a chance to meet him and get to know him. And it was a true honor. It's very, very sad by the news.
Lost for words. Didn't want it to be true. Still don't want to believe it. Prayers out to his family, to his wife and kids, man. And it's a tough day.
Well, reaction pouring in from all around the NFL, including the hometown Rams, saying in part, quote, "We are heartbroken by the loss of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. Kobe was a champion for Los Angeles on the court and transcended sport, providing countless memories to people across the world." A tragic loss to not just the sports world, as Kobe was an international icon. He was just 41 years old. Of course, we'll continue to bring you more reaction from around the league throughout the show. Okay, guys?
Appreciate you, Will. Heavy hearts. The players found out moments. Jane Slater was down there from NFL Network. They kept coming to Jane and saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" as they were warming up when they came out of the tunnels. It was a wild scene, a heartbreaking one at that, during the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, and it really turned into what was a 3-hour tribute. Let's take a look at this, because as Kay mentioned, the news broke shortly before the game started. And when it did, the whole stadium was awash with respect. And when they had a moment of silence for Kobe, this happened. So they have their moment, but as the game continues, it was like the players were looking for ways to pay tribute. Takes to Darius Smith of the Packers. He's going to get to Deshaun Watson. He's going to sack him. The ball comes out, and he immediately gets together with his NFC teammates. Watch this. They're going to do the back down, jab step, turn around, nailed it. And then he was asked afterwards what was going on.
Clearly to honor Kobe Bryant.
We're going to do two steps, and then we're going to do the fadeaway for him. So for everybody to participate, man, as a team, man, I just hope that touched a lot of people in a special way.
170 passes.
It did touch a lot of people, and later on, it was more. Kirk Cousins finds Davante Adams in the red zone for a touchdown. Davante's going to catch the touchdown and immediately look through the camera. 2-4. He spoke and tweeted about how much Kobe meant to him. It was all going around. He does the 360 dunk, shades of Kobe back in the All-Star game. Really, really cool moment from start to finish, guys.
It's an unthinkable tragedy. We hit the group text right away, like none of us really had words. Nate, what did you think when you heard the news?
Disbelief. I pride myself in being very tough. My wife and I joke all the time that I've had 10 or so surgeries and procedures. We're talking some very serious injuries and never shed a tear. And I just sat at home just with a heavy heart trying to wrap my mind around it. 9 lives lost in a tragic accident. And, thoughts and prayers to everyone impacted and every life lost. And, this is a sports show, so of course, we're going to show our respects to Kobe. I was listening to Jalen talk yesterday, and it reminded me of something I oftentimes say, is give people their flowers while they can smell them. Jalen, he spoke from his gut and so eloquently said, it's okay to bring flowers at somebody's funeral. It's great if you bring soup when they're sick. But let this be a reminder that life is short, and just tell people you love them. Your family, your friends. I'm 38, Kobe's 41. So we were very close in age. I looked at him as a peer and also somebody I admired. He rewrote the narrative of his life, and his legacy is going to live on because he meant so much to the game. He wasn't just a basketball player. He was an icon, a global icon. And it's unfortunate because, two words that pop up are why and while. Why did this happen? I don't have the answer to that. I know his family and friends are asking the same thing along with the other lives lost. While you're here, what kind of impact are you going to make? Kobe passed. It's unfortunate. But while he was here, he made an impact. That shook up the world yesterday. So if you want to look in the mirror after a loss like this, just try to figure out why you're on this earth and what you're going to do while you're here.
I lived for a long time in South Orange County, where Kobe lived, and I was fortunate to have two memories that showed both sides of Kobe, the Mamba mentality and then the family side. Through my work and everything, when I got to go out drinking with Kobe, and it was a group of us, some friends, and we were at Javier's Crystal Cove, and Kobe's only a few months older than me, and so I was trying to make conversation with him at the bar, and I was like, I don't know, I'm about to turn 30, and I know you just did, and I feel like I'm getting old, and like my youth is going and everything, and he literally slaps me upside the head. He goes, shut the bleep up, man. Listen. That's child stuff. You're a grown-ass man now. 20s, that's for kids. You're a grown-ass man now. Do you want to do a shot? And I was like, yes, I do, Kobe. About the coolest thing I've ever heard. And then the other one, in my family, we have a phrase that we use with our kids, and we use the phrase rail slide moments. Rail slide moments are moments that you are with your kids, when you're not on your phone, when you're playing hide and seek, the moments that you don't want to get away, and it comes from Kobe. My wife and I just got married, and we were both 30, and we were sitting there in at the Irvine Spectrum. It's an outdoor mall, and we're eating outside, and we're just having al fresco lunch or whatever, and my wife goes, is that Kobe? And we turn around, and there's a set of staircases outside the movie theater there, and they all have these railings on them, and we sat there, I'm like, sure enough, there's Kobe in his head to toe in Nike gear, and he was with his two oldest daughters. And they were playing this game where they were sliding down the rails, like on their backsides, and they were having a contest to see who could go the furthest. And Kobe would go, and he would go down and he would mark it, and then his daughter would go, and he would cheat and try to let her win. And we sat there eating our bruschetta, watching this for 15 minutes, and people are coming up to him and taking pictures and videos and everything. It was so unbelievably moving. He was the biggest star in all of Los Angeles, and he's having this game with his daughters, and that always made an impression on us as we were about to start our family, that those are the rail slide moments. Don't get caught up in everything. Get off your phone. Do that. To this day, we talk about that, and be able to witness this from afar of him with his two oldest daughters. I will never forget it, and I thank him for that.
Yeah, wow. I woke up this morning, Monday morning, I just was hoping it was all a terrible dream and it wasn't real. Like, I was shook really, really hard yesterday. Personally, for me, same age group, obviously. I played high school basketball stuff. I grew up in Jersey. Kobe was a Philly legend. And, like, I feel like I've known Kobe since 1994. Since 1994. We're in 2020 right now. That is a long relationship with a man that I've known from arm's length and never really had too many personal interactions. But we've watched Kobe's entire life. And I think the last few years, post-career, when everyone else was going into TV or trying to be on inside the NBA, Kobe was trying to forge his own path. He could have had any of those jobs. He could be at this table talking football with us. He could do whatever he wants. He wanted to be a father. He was with his daughter coaching basketball. He was telling her that, hey, don't worry. You don't have to worry about ever filling in like my shoes. You've already done beyond that and making me proud as a person and as a basketball player. And lastly, just the career mentality of I'll do it on my terms. Like, he was a businessman, an entrepreneur, but also a family man, and dictated the terms he was able to do it. So we could look at his dunks and we could look at his three-point shots and we could talk about Shaq and everything else. To me, Kobe was an inspiration as a man and as a father. And I just was hoping and praying that I woke up this morning and the last 24 hours was a bad nightmare, but it's real and it's still sinking in.
I don't think I know one young man or guy I grew up with that didn't read the book, that didn't have, didn't say Kobe every time they were throwing anything. He was an icon, and I think some of the shock that's setting in is because of the Mamba mentality you're talking about. Just the fact that he had this, like, air of invincibility, like, how could this happen? And now we're faced with our own mortality. We're thinking about how precious life is, because this is Kobe Bryant we're talking about. He's unstoppable. And so there's that I think collectively, it doesn't happen very often in the 2019s, 2020s, that we're all collectively, universally feeling the same exact feeling the entire time. And I don't follow NBA Twitter. I don't watch the NBA. I can be honest in that. But these past couple of years since retiring, he has seemed so driven and happy, winning an Oscar, setting up the academy, being around his daughters, telling his daughter. I remember, like, I'll see headlines about him telling his daughter that, or telling people and reporters that there's women right now who can play in the NBA, just being so supportive. And it really seemed like he was onto another chapter that I'm sure guys in the NFL, like Tom Brady, were looking at as inspiration for, how do I move on from this great game that I'm known for 2 decades? How do I do this right?
Just think about a young black kid comes into the league as a baby. It's a baby. spoke multiple languages.
17.
He was very prideful in the sense that he said he wrote poetry. At that exact same time, I started writing poetry. He took immense pride in it. He was an artist, and he just continued to reinvent himself. We live in a day and age where you get so comfortable with what you're doing. You know, you have a little bit of success, and you're like, oh, I'm good. I've lived that 1,000 times over. Somebody passed me on the back, I get a check in the mail, and I'm like, man, I made it. Kobe accomplished so much and woke up every day more driven than the day before. And it's unbelievable that his spirit is gone, but his spirit is with us. Like, he planted a seed that is going to grow in the minds of young men and women. It's going to transcend all colors. He was, like I keep saying, global, because he was such an icon here, and then as soon as he crossed the waters, people came to him in droves. Like, he was a rock star. Mm-hmm. But even more so, the rock stars wanted to meet Kobe. The courtside celebs were there to shake his hand. Mm-hmm. And now it's like his essence is all over us. It's just unfortunate, man. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. He's too young. He's too young.
We'll be talking about this throughout the day. Of course, the outpouring across sports, Tiger Woods. We heard from Michael Jordan. We'll hear from NFL players who very much looked up to Kobe Bryant, who passed away at the age of 41.